Welcome back, everyone, to LCS Challengers League. Kangas has stepped out. Now we have to go to Kangas at home. Hello, it is me, Kangas at home.
Wow.
Cubby, you've been having a good time casting, I'm hoping. It's been a pretty long one for you. I know you've been just burning through coffee all at the same time.
I mean, it was supposed to be a long one, but we're getting the speed runs today, Desirux. And I gotta say, I appreciate you dressed for the job. I feel like Kangas was a little bit casual in the morning, but for Kangas at home, I feel like that's an upgrade, attire-wise, at least.
I call this my cubby attire. This is when I'm dressed as much of as a dad as possible. You can see got the sweater vest going on. I made sure to pop the collar over the vest. This is when we're this is what I call cubbing out, baby. We're cubbing out.
Oh, all right. Well, if you're gonna cub out with anyone, you know, I'm glad that I can join you for this one, Desirux. And I'm excited for the series that we have. As I feel like each of these teams, you know, expectation-wise, it was mostly top of the table for TLC and Supernova. We haven't exactly seen TLC reach that yet. I feel like Supernova, to me, has been somewhat towards expectations, but a good chance for TLC to pick up on some of the momentum they had from their first win they picked up last week and try and make sure that they get some more wins this week.
Yeah, I'm always going to reference Supernova by what Shochi had called them. Called himself, his own team, just a super team that was pitched around to tier 2 organizations, which I find hilarious to call it a tier 2 super team. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. They're performing really well. They're meeting those expectations. For Team Liquid Honda Challengers, however, it's been a very, very rough road for them. Their only win was against Disguised and 1-3 record right now, Cubby.
Yeah, and I think that this is a team, I know that, you know, we had beat down one of our peers talk with Keel. And I do want to reference, you know, Keel's like, hey, you know, a little bit of it is language barrier and some of it's just having new players, but we're not on the same page yet. And from watching TLC's games, I mean, it is pretty clear, like, this team isn't quite on the same page yet as a 5-stack. So I think that we saw some positive steps forward for TLC last week. I know that they did find their first win and then immediately dropped the series to AoE afterwards. They did beat Disguised, which was a feel-good for them. And I thought Kim Down had a really good series, but they need more, and they have a chance to beat a pretty quality opponent in Supernova here, Desirux.
Yeah, I mean, Supernova, 2 of their wins on the series have been 2-0 sweeps on top of that. They're a very, very flexible team. That's the first thing that comes to mind when you see someone like Shochi on this squad. But keep in mind, Faisal has a pretty deep champion pool. Kenvi has been able to support these solo lanes. Array has been an incredibly consistent player. Seems like Supernova are the total package, Cub.
I mean, it's been fun to watch, and I had this roster ranked pretty highly, and it's because that when I saw this roster, I was like, hey, this makes sense to me. Like, I think Faisal is fantastic at playing weak side and also peeling for marksman, and Array is someone that we're like, hey, this is a team fight marksman. What does Array need to work on? Probably laning. Who's he paired up with? Diamond. He can help any marksman get better at lane. And then what do we have? We've got Kenvi, who probably needs a little bit more direction. That's good for Kenvi early on. Diamond gives everyone direction, and Kenvi and Shochi, I think they're going to force each other to improve because each are hungry for resources. There's only, you know, finite amount of resources in the league. They're going to have to figure out how to balance that. I think we've seen Supernova somewhat struggle with that a little bit, but still excited to see how this team grows. Made sense to me how it was put together, and looking forward to seeing how they continue to cash in.
Well, the draft is now ready. It's going to be Team Liquid Honda Challengers on the blue side. One of the things I've liked about Supernova, I did allude to it a little bit earlier, is just how flexible some of their drafts have been. Even with Kenvi, who back in like the 100 Thieves pipeline days, we knew him to be incredibly aggressive. Now he's willing to play supportive towards both Faisal, towards both Shochi, and it's working out for the squad pretty well.
I love how you bring that up because I think that Kenvi, like his LCS run, I talked about it. The one thing I wanted to see when he came back down the Challengers was just gain confidence. But also, I think it's really good to see him demonstrate the skills that he did pick up and learn in LCS, which was being better as a supportive jungler. He's had quality Poppy and Trundle games. Like, that's been really nice to see out of Kenvi. It's something that back when Kenvi was here prior, we just didn't see. Now, I expect for him to demonstrate that, but it's still good that we are seeing that, and I want to see him continue to find the angles to go in, because, man, a Kenvi Lee Sin, Kenvi Viega game it's always really a treat.
A lot of bans coming in, mostly targeted towards AP champions, Orianna, Rumble, Karma, Talia. None of them going to see the Rift this time. TLC will have that first pick, and Thing about that power pick for TLC, Roamer, even though TLC haven't been doing that well, Roamer has been very, very consistent, and he's mechanically gifted. He's putting up some of the best lane stats that we have, so setting up for success is definitely a good way to go for TLC, but they're drafting towards that bot lane. Varus will be the first pick.
Yeah, no surprise. Varus is really strong, and curious to see the Smolder. I will say this is the first time that we are seeing Smolder on red side Deserex, so this flex towards mid could be held for the entire draft for Supernova.
All right, this is the third time today Smolder's been picked.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
It's 1-1.
Yeah.
It seems pretty strong. So I will. It takes some time for this pick to get online, but once it is online, I mean, you are literally a pentakill machine there in the game.
I mean, it's all about getting that 225 on the stacks, trying to get that super Scorcher Breath. Once you get it to 25, you do get that splash damage, which makes it easier to stack up pretty quickly. So around that like 17 to 20 minute mark, maybe a little bit after that, is when this champion gets that 225, and that's where the deadliness kicks in. But we got some shields coming out from Kill. He's also been willing to play Ivern. I believe this is his third Ivern game now, and one of those was a dub. That was against Disguise, so gonna play the supportive role will be Kill.
I'm curious seeing this because I feel like they actually took away two picks that synergize really well with Smolder. You can play Smolder mid, and Ivern's really good at supporting Marksman mid. Also, Smolder bot. I think Nautilus is one of the easier matchups because they can kind of help get out of the lane as well as close the gap for Smolder to interact. Smolder is a little bit lacking on the range. So I think that's kind of cute coming out of TLC. It is going to be paired up with the Cassante, the top side, and curiously enough, we haven't seen a lot of Udyr priority here at Deserex. And it is going to be banned away, but I was kind of setting up like, maybe we see the handshake, but nope, going to be denied from Supernova.
Jenkins has been more willing to play it for Faisal. I remember when he was coming up, the big champion that I was looking out for all the time was Olaf. Well, last year, Cassante was his #1 played, and he played it damn well. Definitely going to be very comfortable piloting this champ.
Yeah, and I wonder if they try to lean into taking away more of Jenkins' pool. I think that a Gwen ban wouldn't be a huge surprise here. I think Gwen's really strong into what's showing so far for Supernova. One of the further target Jenkins up top. And meanwhile, you can see some of the supports being denied as they're assuming it's going to be a Rel jungle, which I think is a decent assumption so far.
So as we still shape up, I want to ask how you feel about the Ivern in response to the Smolder. I know the big thing is getting that execution online for the Smolder. The Ivern provides some shields to at least try and prevent that from coming through.
So I think it's somewhat of a deny from the pairing, but also I like it as a deny against Rel too, because Ivern can kind of like hide the engages. I think it's more so just about controlling things. And I'm really curious to see how like they round out things in the end, because I could see something like a Tristana and AP top lane core to try and really push around the Smolder. As we actually see a Leona coming in from Diamond. This is something that Ole played on the LCS stage recently, said it felt strong. It is something where you can catch the engage in Nautilus and actually out-trade Nautilus bot. So adding some lane strength bot for a potential Smolder being there, who of course does lack in that part of the game.
And look at the entirety of the comp alongside that Leona. You got a Rel, you got a Cassante.
Yeah.
You got the beefiest of front lines and some spicy engage. TLC are going to try and negate a little bit of that. Steadfast Presence can stifle some of the engage that Supernova are looking for.
And they need magic damage, and they need something to get through all these tanks. I think that's really smart, or at least what you're pointing out here, Deserex. I agree. Anything that can burn tanks here, I think, will be really good for Roamer mid. Varus can go on hit and has the capability to do this. And curious to see the Jace. That's much more towards early game, and it makes TLC mostly physical damage, which going up against 3 tanks, that's a bit risky. You're enabling them to build as many Frozen Hearts as they want.
Yeah, it does have a lot of poke. That's one of the things we can point out, but to your regard. Ooh. Okay, so our latest champions are now on the Rift, Cubby. It's Hue and Smolder.
I thought it was Acel there for a sec, man. It was like a little bit of a delay between like the lock-in of the champs, and I keep on getting baited by it because Acel had some changes in this patch. It is going to be Hue. That's a lot of range to try and combat what TLC is throwing at them. I'm curious because they need damage given all the tanks that they do have. Cassante can kind of bring that along. it's going to be really strong into Poppy. Honestly, there aren't a lot of things that can get all the way back to Hui. So I kind of like this pick for Supernova. I think Shochi's going to be rather safe piloting this game.
And I remember I was talking to Shochi, and one of the things he told me was every now and then Array is willing to get freaky. I've been waiting to figure out what exactly that means. But you know what? First picking the Smolder, the moment we get the chance, the moment it's out on the patch, I'm liking it alongside Shochi playing the way. So here we go. We're on the way of TLC versus Supernova, and get a close look at that.
We get 3 Smolders and 3 different skins, too. We're really busting out all the stops here to promote Riot's new champion. I swear they haven't paid us or the teams to do this, you know?
30 seconds until
more new champs, Desirux.
Yeah. Look at that. How wonderful is it? We got the most Zoomer of compositions we got coming forward. Except for Leona, you know? I'll blame it, though. Diamond's been here for a while.
Well, Diamond has been. It's actually funny you bring that up. I talked to Kim down before the games today, Desirux.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, like, are you excited to play against Diamond? You know, like, he's someone that has been around for a bit. Kim down has usually kept it brief. It's like, yeah, Diamond's a good player. It's going to be fun to play against him. So now he gets to play against Smolder, too, which has been looking a bit strong. We do have Array going for the D-ring setup. It'll be a few points in the W, usually 3 or max to try and get you out of the lane phase. And then you kind of go from there.
It's going to be interesting to see how Array plays this out, because usually when I see Array play, I kind of think of him playing champions that have, you know, can chill out to some regard. You know, Aphelios, what are we going to do? We're going to chill out for the late game. Jhin and Varus, what are we going to do? We're going to chill out in the backline and poke people down a little bit. That's usually how I see him going, but I haven't seen too much of the Smolder, so it's going to be interesting to see how Ray takes his playstyle into this champion.
You see right now, Diamond, he's hoping that Kim down throws a hook or walks in to this brush, because then he's able to get a few trade, as, you know, he's going to have some trades. The trade here from Kim down, wasn't able to proc the Diona passive at all, and now we're going to have some bad news for Keel, as Kenby actually snuck in below him, took the Raptors, and was waiting for the Iverns. So he's going to have to retreat to the camps that he's already prepped, and then hopefully play towards the top side.
This has been a kind of reoccurring issue for Kill. He's been getting outpaced by a lot of junglers. I still remember the first game of the season. It was Winnie who was actually able to outpace him the first time around, and now Kill kind of suffering this against Kenby. And it's kind of a shame, because we do know Kill to be a very outstanding jungler. He was, I believe, what was it, 3rd in MVP votes last summer. So Kill trying to find his way still onto this map right now.
I mean, Keel, very, very strong season last year, and part of why he did end up on this Challengers squad related to the LCS team. Worth noting that, of course, Supernova does have a partnership with NRG, too. So, technically, both of these teams somewhat affiliated with LCS squads. Rare that we have that anymore, Desirux. It's what we have in Challengers.
Look at this Kim down, trying to get an angle onto the mid lane. Not going to be the easiest thing to pull off. Roamer's trying to angle Shochi, that he goes onto the side of the wave that Kim down is waiting. But not really going to happen, not the angle to take.
I still don't mind the look. It was a 3-wave crash, so he's just sacrificing his base timer for that. I think that's fine. You can see Keel really trying to distract Kenby. Won't be able to prep this camp in time. Kenby does have Smite, so will secure his own Raptors.
Yeah, so Keel still not really keeping up, at least in the early game with Kenby, trying to some regard, but Kenby will be finishing out. Top side of the jungle now, an engage going over in the bottom lane. Diamond goes forward on Kim down, but just a little bit of harassment, a little bit of scrapping. Even a scrapping Faisal, not getting the better of the trade to Jenkins.
Yeah, Poppy counterpick really nice against Cassante. This is one I really like seeing, because Poppy is so strong in team fights where she can't interact, and honestly, that's part of why I really like the Hui 5 pick, Desirux, because the amount of range and space you're able to buy with Hui, it brings so much utility to the table. It's really good, but now we gotta pause. Hold on.
We got a lot of lockdown in the bottom lane, and Diamond is suffering. First blood goes out to Kim down.
Good setup. I will say that I'm a bit surprised that Supernova's bot lane didn't recall after that last one. It's Roamer.
Shochi's in trouble. Roamer flashes forward, able to tee up and slam down. Shochi will fall in the mid.
That was really clean from Roamer. So Jace's E-Hammer has changed a little bit. And he actually was able to pretty much queue up an auto attack and then throw down the E, so it still went through even though the distance changed. That's really, really well played from Roamer mid lane.
Yeah, great stuff from Romer. I mean, Shochi, he had some comments about importing. Not necessarily mad at it, but felt like, you know, depending on the context, it can be a little bit overrated. You got to prove yourself against Romer, man. If you're saying this is overrated, solo kills, you know, falling to him right now, not going to cut it. Definitely got to see a little bit better. Romer's feeling good.
Yeah, and I think overall, this is important for TLC. We haven't really talked about, you know, the scaling arcs of each of these teams. I'm going to favor Supernova as this game moves forward, just because they have split damage and Smolder gets really strong late. I think that TLC needs to win this game early. Like, they need to kind of take over. So overall, I think these 2 kills early on, really good for them. I think their goal is to hit the Jace 2-item spike pretty hard and use that to snowball the game.
I'm going to be looking at some of these tanks, their itemization, the more and more armor they get. That's going to be a very, very hard front line for TLC to cut through. All in the meanwhile, Kenvi is taking the Void Grubs. We'll be able to claim 3 on the first spawn kill. Showing up a little late. We'll just give a parting goodbye to his opposing jungler.
I really like what Kenvi's done on the early map. He's been trying to stay active, trying to deny Ivern. He's going to drop his bugs on the top side and work his way back bot, so maybe on the wave bounce because he's Supernova threatened the Dragon. I still think that given the strength of bot lanes early on, we will see TLC probably able to get this one for themselves.
Pathing towards this bottom side, the most terrifying thing about Supernova is heal's not there. If this lane does get overextended, there's so much lockdown that can really ruin the day of the bot lane of TLC. I mean, you got the Achu coming out from Smolder. Feels weird to say that out loud. Which sets up the slow for 2 potential big tank stuns. So you got to watch out if you're spawned.
Yeah, it does. Cleanse against Leona, very standard, which Spawn has. And Kim can actually kind of play Interrupt as well with the Nautilus, as you can hook Leona out of her Zenith Blade, which is rather nice. Maybe he's got flash.
Oh, here we go. The engage is going to be on Kim Down. He has his flash available. Will use it. Tries to turn it around because Kill has arrived in the shields, providing the protection for Spawn to nail it right into Diamond. Kenvi and Array will walk away. TLC go 3-0.
Kill's here to match. I think that as long as TLC have 3, they win the 3v3 against Supernova, just given the strength of Varus early compared to Smolder. But I want to give Kim Down some credit. That was really well played. There was an option for Kenvi to Q flash and make sure that the chain lands guaranteed. Instead, he flashed out. And now Kim Down is going to have to run.
Mama Ray's coming down. Kim Down critically low. One more auto would take him down, but he's going to survive. It's Kenvi who gets dropped, and it's all going awry for Supernova.
Oh my goodness. I mean, they could have gotten Array the kill if he just walked forward into the brush, but no, they thought they had him anyway. Doesn't go down, and it's a huge gold lead early on for TLC. That's massive.
TLC again, 1-3 on the regular season. This is only a single round robin, so you need to start turning this around, and this is the performance required to do just that.
Damn, I mean that feels really bad for Supernova. And I like what you said there, Deserex. Like, this is a slow start for TLC. I mean, I talked to Kim about it, and he's like, hey, the result isn't good. We know that, but hey, we did pick up a win last week. We have a process, and like the win last week got them a little bit more confidence in their process to make sure that it is working. And it's good to see TLC. This is a team that, you know, underspawned for 3 years straight. It really played aggressive early, and it's continuing now as Kim Down.
Shochi's locked down. Romer will grab that kill. Kenvi looking to back out as Daisy starts hammering down. TLC able to get another one unanswered, Cubby.
Oh man, this is tough. I think the first couple moves that we've seen out of Kenvi just haven't quite connected. I think bot again, if he's able to guarantee the chain against Kim Down, that's the only chance. Again, once the 3 show up for TLC, I can't really blame them for not fully committing because they do lose that. But it's hard now. I mean, it's already a 3k goldie for TLC, and you give Jace gold like this early, he can blow up your team with these shock blasts.
Yeah, you can see right there, Supernova, they don't want to put themselves in a position where that shock blast is going to chunk out 3 members right away. Kim Down throws out the hook lines, able to land it onto Kenvi, but it's Diamond who's out of position. He goes in with the Zenith Blade. Mama Ray still comes down, gets the slow through. TLC starting to run low, so they're going to run out of this fight. They sacrifice Kim Down. It was a trade of supports.
They'll take that as Dragon went over to Supernova. Did they get that Dragon?
I believe so, yeah.
That's what it says. I did not see that. Okay, no, it's TLC. All right.
There we go.
We beat the scoreboard. We beat the allegations. Oh. All right. For a second there, I was like, did I miss that? Like, I was going a little bit crazy. But no, we're just gonna return to Kim Down, going crazy looking mid. I really like the pressure that Kim Down's put mid too. Again, Shoshi is attackable on this way pick, especially when you have something like a Jace that does have so much damage early, especially if you give it help. And I want to credit TLC. I think that this game plan, they did take a comp where they have to hit their spikes early. They really only threaten one form of damage. The only magic damage will be from Ivern Shields and Poppy Sunfire. So they need this, and TLC are hitting their timers.
How are you liking this coming out from TLC right now? This is so far so good. 2-0-1 on Roamer, 2-0-2 on Spawn. They got the economy going for them. You said they needed to play fast. They needed to get this composition online. And once it is, I mean, once we get towards the later phases and they're still acquiring this gold lead, that's a lot of poke. That is a lot of poke that Supernova are going to have to answer.
Keel took 2 grubs, so they cannot get 5+. I want to return to your point. I think this is the best look I've seen so far out of TLC in terms of early games. The early games haven't been that bad. It's just some games, they get blown up, and they don't really have an answer to get back into the game. This game, though, it's been very concrete. What their goals were, I think they're playing around their strengths well in the comp. Jenkins on line 1 top lane. He got the counter pick, and he's really been cashing it in. And Poppy, I mean, it is a tank where, again, I think that Shochi is going to interact pretty well with the Poppy. You can buy a lot of space for the tanks for the Hui and Smolder to do work, but if Poppy gets really far ahead, she is a very oppressive tank that gets a lot of free stats between her shield and the resistances that she gets on her W as well.
I still remember the last time Kenby played Poppy into Lit. That was a 15.0 KDA. Once a Poppy gets rolling, it is absolutely savage. Yeah, Jenkins will be playing that and taking his recall over on the top side. Meanwhile, let's just take a look at the map 11 minutes into this. We still got 2 minutes, 30 seconds for a Dragon to spawn and a 2.8k lead coming out from Team Liquid, who have played this game rather fast. A lot of responses coming out from Kill to be at the right place, right time, despite the aggression that Kenby was putting on. Kill responds to it beautifully. He doesn't sweat a thing, and now Team Liquid have a strong lead.
TL. I want to see them continue to try and attack this way. Again, Hui is pretty much immobile artillery, so if you're able to lock that down and get kills and remove that, I think that is an easy point for them that they can attack. And I mean, immediately Roamer just TPs back in, gets the shield. And look at that, Shochi's at 60% HP. That hurts.
Ouch. Yeah, he's not having a good time. It's already been 2 deaths for him. He hasn't been able to stay in lane for that long. Roamer's just farming up. Feels so good for a Jace when you are able to get that income and bring those shock blasts in. Definitely going to make Supernova think twice if they want to take a fight, and Faisal can't take one. Steadfast Presence going to block.
Oh boy.
Now Jenkins still going in and just outplaying the daylights out of Faisal.
Yeah, I will say that Jenkins is someone that I was really excited to have back in Challengers League this year. We saw him in spring last year. Did not make a return in summer with the league narrowing, but did hit rank 1. Jenkins is someone that I think still has a very good reputation for being a strong player. And man, this Poppy pick's been massive. He's going to get redemption. We're going to try and use redemption. The cheese is kill Roamer's here now.
3 members showing up. Kenby, I don't think this is the way to go. They turn right onto Kenby and he heads for the hills. Strategic retreat coming out for Supernova. Faisal left in a world of hurt as Dazel starts to pound down. It's going to be Roamer who grabs the kill.
I mean, what a great look coming out from Team Liquid Challengers. We haven't seen this all year from them, Desrex, and this is really the sound early game that we have come to expect from these teams that, again, Spawn was the coach for this team for, what, 3 years? Ever since he joined, they were a team that had rigid macro. They were playing the map really well. You know, we've seen them fumbling with this new lineup, and of course, MASH now taking the helm, but this is what I'm used to seeing out of these squads. Really good to see TLC kind of return the form in this one. Take this aggressive early comp in terms of bot and mid, and now they're shifting it everywhere. I mean, that was a dive top with 3. They made that look easy.
Yeah, that's going to feel great. Jenkins is going to be freed up. That wave is shoved in, and Dragon is spawning. Great time to rotate over into that direction and keep that stacking going with a 4.5k gold lead. Spawn even finishing up the Blade of the Rune King on top of it. So, good time to back, good time to get those vital purchases, good time to get the, grab the Drake. But instead, nope, it's going to be ping over top. Jenkins wants to get the Rift Herald, everyone else setting up for Drake.
Actually, I like how you highlighted that, as Faisal does have Empower TP coming in Deseruct, so this is doable, but I don't even know if Supernova want to fight at this point. Like, I think the real key for Smolder is just get to Navori. That's like the first spike where we really see Smolder take off, and then maybe from there you can kind of play your way back into the game, but you've seen a lot of games with Smolder. I know it's a small sample size in our 3 games at NACL, but they've all in a way kind of looked like this, where it's been goal deficit early with Smolder being down. As Kenvik hits the flash. He was baiting the Q flash, he got spawned to react. That's not bad.
It's nice. Flash down.
Yeah, it is nice. That's really nice.
He's going to love that one. It's going to result in some retaliation for Supernova to actually set up on this map, because spawn is not going to be that safe anymore.
I like that a lot. It's on hit Ferret, so you get to play into it pretty easily as well.
TLC want to find the first engage right here. Support's getting low. Kindown's going to be the first one to fall. Diamond's able to flash out. Roamer takes a good chunk of pain coming out from Array. Achu's not going to land. Neither will the snare. And one drop in on the side of TLC. Supernova still able to stay alive.
Yeah, I didn't love that take from Kindown. I know what they're thinking. Like, hey, we're ahead. We have Iron Shields and Redemption, but I think that you want to let Jace poke a little bit before you actually take a fight if you are looking at the dragon. So we'll see if TLC changes their approach next time.
See right there, 120 stacks so far on Array. Still going to be some time before he gets to that 225, and that is when we get to see that deadly version of Smolder.
I also
scaling.
Yeah, I also caught in there that it was 3 points in the W, and then he Q-maxed, and now he's E-maxing. So again, that is one way that people have really figured out you can get Smolder out of lane if you do take that W, and there's really various degrees of how strong you can lane. If you want to take Common and Scorch and max W, you're actually pretty good in lane, but then you take some more doubles to get points in the Q, and you won't do as much damage there, which that's still the spell you're going to use the most. So it's been fun to kind of watch players figure this out. Vibe is, of course, again, the sample size is so small.
Have you played much of it, Cubby?
No, but I've been doing with a friend. I've been playing support for it. It's a lot of fun with like Nautilus and Thresh. I think you need to close the gap so you can set up for it. So I think Engage is the way to go. Like if you're on Enchantress with Smolder, you're just asking to get blasted.
I know this was... I gotta ask, is it Lennon who you've been playing it with? Because I know this was the champion he was most excited for the release of.
I got a couple I played with Lennon last night, but no, it's been our good friend Coco. A former color caster of Academy, ironically, and still one that helps behind the scenes. He's a bit of a stronger player than I am. We like playing in our solo queue games, you know.
So the startup now from TLC for the Rift Herald. He used Daisy, kill setting up over there, and not much of an answer to be found from Supernova. I mean, when TLC are able to get first setup, that's where it's pretty scary, especially as we get towards later objective setups, because again, that poke will always be there.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just seeing if Supernova can kind of slingshot the way back to the Smolder. Until then, the map really feels like it is in complete control of TLC. I will say that first dragon was taken a little bit late on the clear, so they can't rush this dragon stacking. That, of course, matters if you're trying to close out a game soon. As Smolder and Hui, they do scale quite nicely. But TLC kind of chilling at the moment here, and honestly, we kind of have to see Supernova come to life.
There's not much they can really play around at the immediate moment. This is just all about map control, getting something on the side lane to actually start taking these towers. And still keep, of course, the Smolder scaling. 147 now on the stacks from Array, who's just shoving in the mid wave all the while.
I mean, you can see the gold. Holy cow, look at how far ahead Roamer is. Yeah. Wow. Well, that Jay's going to hit rather hard.
2 items complete already. Last Whisper on top of it. 301, 600 gold bounty. It's a big shock blast.
Yeah, I like what TLC is doing here too. They mid's low, but they're rotating to try and siege bot. Ivern in these scenarios feels really nice with the Jace. You can kind of shield them up, you can brush, and put down all the poke you can possibly manage.
There's Jenkins still being a menace over to Faisal on the side lane. Keeping the wave shoved in pretty deep. allowing TLC to just hold control over this map. But again, that rotation comes in, Cubby, towards the bottom side. No one's really there to answer at the immediate moment, so you can get damage on this tower, potentially look to take it.
Yeah, I love how slow and controlled TLC is playing this again. I have higher expectations for our teams that are tied to LCS orgs, just given that they get first pick of the litter, they have bonus resources to play with, and I know TLC wasn't happy with their first couple of weeks, but it's really good. I mean, again, what Kim Down said coming into this week, right? They got their first one on the board last week. Yes, they were 0-2 the next day against AoE, but hey, you know what? At least they feel like their process is working, and this is the best I've seen TLC look on the Rift so far, which is great.
Yeah, they've been able to neutralize quite a bit. I mean, we did look at how well Roamer's doing, but of course Jenkins up there has just been shoving the wave in time and time again against Faisal. Still itemizing a lot of that armor. You can see 2 items now completed over on Faisal, so he is getting towards that point where he's going to be more and more of a threat, harder and harder to kill for TLC, so it's something you got to watch out for.
I'm going to be trying to see Supernova. Their formation, so Baron has spawned. I think TLC, they're just chilling until Dragon. They've gotten both side waves shoved in, so they're going to force Supernova to respawn. I saw showing on bot side. And I expect to see TLC. They're going to do one sweep of Baron, and then they should be shifting all their power towards Jenkins here on the bot side.
Shove into the mid wave. No minion wave there. It's not going to be... Whew. It's not going to be the turret taking damage. It's going to be a Ray. Just eats that piercing arrow from Roamer. Rift Herald's going to go down. We still got 30 seconds before the Dragon does spawn, and TLC are way ahead of this setup right now. They'll be able to take down that mid lane tower and open up this map.
I mean, this is the real reason that, you know, Smolder needs Mom. It's because Mom's the only thing that can get him in the range. He's just getting poked out consistently by this Jace. Should be Crab into Dragon falling. I don't think Supernova can look. I mean, the last fight, they had spawns flash down, and they still weren't able to find a winning angle onto him. So, I think they still need some work.
I mean, you can see how budget Shochi is at the moment. This is pretty brutal for Supernova if they do want to fight this, which I would say no. You can already see Shochi's over on the top side. Don't contest this Dragon. TLC will claim it, but that puts them at Dragon Soul points.
It's funny because earlier on, I heard someone compare Smolder a little bit to like Aurelion Soul. It was Dragoon in the interview, like just the release of the champ. And it feels like that way of like giving the first 3 Drakes and just praying that your late game works out as we have to fight bot.
Brutal for Faisal. He's not getting away from this one. Roamer grabs another kill and goes on a rampage.
That was pretty easy, Deserex. I didn't feel too guilty talking through that one. It's a one-way trip for Faisal.
And tough spot for Faisal, who honestly has been having a pretty great season so far in terms of stats. First in average kills, last in average deaths. Has been
sounds nice.
Pretty sturdy, especially how much he's been willing to lean into like AP champions for this Supernova squad so far. He's been on fire thus far, but now those flames being fanned out by Jenkins.
This is what Jenkins does. I mean, this guy is just built to be a 1v1 top laner. He knows his matchups really well. I know that Spawn really enjoyed working with Jenkins and thought that he was able to use his champ pool like very uniquely and well. It's good to see Jenkins. I mean, this Poppy pick's been fantastic so far. As can be.
Chain of Corruption not going to land. No engage to come through from TLC. Supernova trying to put some distance in. They spot Jenkins by himself, but it's going to be very hard to chase down that Poppy. And yeah, to that regard, Cubby, I do remember the moment Jenkins got signed once again by TLC, he was talking about how good it feels to be back home. This is a squad that he had a lot of development time with back in when we were Academy.
I mean, Jenkins was part of the 10th place team that then made it to first in that 1 year, the year that Spawn stepped in. They got the new crew. It was, I believe it was him and Armeo that were around from that team. Or Armeo was someone that stepped in. It was one of them that I think were on that 10th place Academy team. But, I mean, 2 players that are strong and held in decent regard now. So, again, you know, sometimes results, not always, you know, the whole team. You can have individuals flourish under the right conditions. And love seeing TL utilize Jenkins and some of his unique strengths as a player here.
Team Liquid now starting to eyeball the big purple worm. They set up around Baron. They've spawned Kim down in that location. Now Diamond gonna press for the engage right here. Teleport coming through. Kim down's gonna teleport out. Flash out, excuse me, as Jenkins able to get the ultimate, kicks out Supernova into the sky, down to the ground. Spawn will grab a kill. Kenby gets pulled in, has to flash away. Here comes Mama Array, but right now TLC are the ones who are here to play. A double kill picked up by Spawn. They're gonna lose no one. Supernova cannot answer Team Liquid.
I mean, that fight was all Jenkins, man. He knocked away the 2 carries, and then he was tankier than the other ones combined. Those tanks don't mean anything if you don't have the damage behind it. TLC split the tanks and the damage. That's free fight and free Baron.
Easy pickup for Team Liquid. Baron power play now ready to come out as they take an 8K lead. Look at the timer. Everything is going their way because in a minute 50 seconds, you'll have Dragon Soul on the table. This is looking beautiful for Team Liquid.
I mean, honestly, I can't tell if this is a boring game or a palate cleanser after how crazy our first 2 series was today. What I will say is that this was beautiful from Jenkins, man. Yeah. He plays this fight so damn well. Finds both the carries, continues to frontline, even gets a knockback to follow up the good dredge line from Kim Down. Kim Down also picking up just a solid 400 health from Keels Ivern, who's just supporting the boys from the back, you know? Give him some shields, let him go to work. Everything's good.
That's all right, you know? You just let everyone else do the work for you, especially Jenkins when he's playing this damn well. As Jenkins alone a threat in the mid lane. He'll hold that mid-wave tower while the rest of Team Liquid starts setting up in the bot lane. They're going to keep control of this quadrant as Dragon will be spawning soon.
Really like that from Kill too. I'm going to start doing a better job of tracking when blue and red buffs are taken compared to Dragons. It's really strong getting all of them. Heal. Trying to deter Supernova from engaging. That's a lot of damage onto Array. That might be enough.
Yeah, that shock blast is kind of insane. Another one comes out. Not going to be the empowered one. Roamer should have the cooldown up next. Jenkins coming from the flank. Ooh, the stun comes out just in time by Kenby to protect Diamond. Will Hex Flash over the wall. Supernova. You could feel the tension as they try and get away into this game. But right now, the Dragon Pit belongs to Team Liquid.
And they're shifting their power back. Roamer is TPing mid, so this should be a pretty big shock blast. Kenby goes.
Kenby goes in, spawn in the back line. Here comes Mama Ray, comes down, able to hit, but it really doesn't do much. A brilliant knockup comes through, and Supernova are lambs to the slaughter. A double kill gonna be found by Array. No spawn. He will grab it. Going forwards, Roamer wants to bring down the hammer onto Faisal. One more blast will do it. Doesn't land on the backside. Faisal able to survive. Will he be able to tell the story of what he just witnessed, the slaughter that TLC committed?
I mean, I gotta say, last week in LCS, I saw Team Liquid really level up their macro play. TLC, best look of the year so far. This game has been super clean, and we pitched it coming into this game, Deserex. They have a chance to prove themselves against a quality opponent in Supernova. We have some expectations for coming into the Challengers this year. TLC are crushing them, man. This has been start to finish all them.
All right, gonna give something back as TLC. Kim Down won't escape, but can you get spawn as well? No, Kenby won't continue the chase. Just gonna be Kim Down who falls. Very little loss there for TLC.
I mean, even gets himself to die to Leona. As Diamond, curiously enough, actually opting for a Blood Song. You don't really need the extra 40% tankiness on Leona. This is the damage amp for the team. So hopefully whoever he goes on can be smoked by Array and Shoshi, but again, I think it's a little bit too late. Look at the items and how far ahead like Spawn is compared to this Smolder. I mean, he is got a wit's end. He's almost wrapped up another item here. That's pretty big.
Here comes Supernova. Magnet Storm going to be used. Nice. The target is Roamer. Roamer's getting low, but so is Kenby. Ooh, Roamer goes godlike. Finally, he falls at the hands of Array. The Smolder's going to get a kill. Daisy goes forward. Faisal's on the opposite side of the turret as TLC starts to crawl around and regroup.
You can see Smolder. The execute is available. Array has equipped the 225 stack, so I mean, that keeps on going. It's something that is doable. You become a pentakill machine at this point of the game as Smolder. It's going to be a lot of damage from Array, but it still really feels like too little too late. I mean, that's the first close fight, and it's still a 1-for-1 with just Supernova trading up.
You're going to need to delay this game for quite some time if Supernova are going to start to come back. Scaling's there. I mean, you've got the Smolder online now. It's just really unfortunate that it's a 10k deficit for Supernova because Team Liquid got to work rather early. And now they're dancing around this top end, this top quadrant. They still got one more tier 2 to go before they clear a mono. Two more. Off of that one in the mid lane.
Poppy went Sundered Sky. That's going to be so funny later on when we just see Poppy healing for like 400 HP under these shields, hitting some targets. That's a fun one. I wasn't expecting to see that from Jenkins, but Sundered Sky rather strong.
Expect the unexpected from Jenkins, man.
I mean, in a way, yes. In terms of style, no. Hooray! We are getting the hover again from Smolder. Yeah, he has Eclipse. He's at 309. He's rather fed. I will say that Infernal Drake, not bad for Smolder either. If you're able to pick up a lot of shards, could get a couple bonus Qs out, or maybe a bonus E. It's not bad as, more abilities for the caster, right? Not bad.
You're fighting from behind. 3-1-0 on Array, so... Yeah, not bad is pretty much the best situation I could really give it there. Still, though,
yeah,
TLC,
I mean, the game's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Where Smolder's at, not bad. The rest of the game, bad, you know?
So TLC are utilizing the super minions, pushing in from the bottom lane. Where do you expect to see them set up next?
They're going to set up Roamer to do that to Array. Because now Array has to wait for the wave, and he has to try and lifesteal it. As they're going to be very intentional about where they stand the body block, as they're going to give Array this one. BT will help him, but still, that's a wave where he's just out of commission. If that lands, as Baron is spawning, it could be the gap that TLC is looking for to take this down.
Quite possibly. They did shove in the wave and sent Shochi over to the bottom lane. Keep in mind, Shochi does have teleport, so he can respond to that wave and get back to the team fight if one does break out for Supernova. Right now, a deep flank coming out from Kenvi, who's positioning behind the Baron pick. He was spotted.
TLC, they're threatening. They're thinking about it, but I think they want to find Kenvi first. Yes. Yeah, they're going to go for a hunt. There he is.
Kenvi goes over the wall, has a blast plant to work with. Hops over 2 walls, but this is a long way from home. Yeah, this is no man's land right here. Sorry, Kenvi. You're not escaping this one. Even you take it from the tower, it's still a kill going over to Roamer. He's happy to pick up that one, and now the jungler is down.
Well, that's one way to remove Smite from the map. You chase him into your base. Compared to the first 4 games we had today, SRX, I'm so sorry. This is boring. It's a palate cleanser for me, but I can see how it could be boring for you, all right?
All that being said, nice from TLC to have that ward that they put in the tri-bush all the way up top. It did spot out that path that Kenvi was trying to take. So unfortunate for Kenvi, though, man. So unfortunate. He's trying his best.
Yeah, I mean, they do need a hero flank at some point. They're going to hopefully get Kenvi back up. Maybe they'll do something. Okay, good night. No. Well, that's a beautiful route coming out for Teal. And someone else is falling for free against TLC.
Another tier 2 and another tier 2. They have all fallen. Now we are sieging on the base TLC. Goodness gracious. These shock blasts. If Roamer ever sees Array, no protection there, no one to body block, there's a big chunk that's about to be missing from Array's health bar.
Yeah, some of these have been really impressive. Like that one he angled around the mid wave with Baron was pretty damn good. Whereas the rest of TLC is still looking pretty damn good themselves. They got Jenkins split up. That's the tank. The rest of them are just waiting for the wave. The siege upon top lane turret. And Jenkins might be able to take this one with a double siege. Creeps he has empowered to help out.
It is not a good day to be Smolder. Here comes the engage. Shochi gets knocked up and Roamer goes in. Double kill from Roamer. Mom can't save you now. It's too far, too gone. As Roamer chases down 3 members of Supernova. TLC siege for the end.
I mean, Smolder mid 1-0, Smolder bot 1-2, you know? Or 0-2, I should say. That's where we're at today, Desrex. I think that sums up our day of Challengers.
Yup. Smolder not looking too good in the bottom lane as TLC take one more engage, one more to close this out. Keeper's verdict not going to land onto Array. Instead, he's going to get some vengeance back, but hey, your Nexus just blew up. TLC take game 1.
I mean, whatever TLC is doing over there, man, keep it up. Where they were at the first couple weeks, I mean, this was a team that they looked disjointed. They did not look on the same page. That's the game you can build momentum off of. That was a very clean game coming out of Team Liquid. They knew their win cons. They played towards them really nicely. Props to Kim Down, who had some really nice engages to start things off like that mid. He hit the triple depth charge. That pretty much ended the game. And then Spawn and Roamer just cashed in across the board. Great performance for all 5 members of TLC. That's the team I was hoping to see this year.
Yeah. And that's the point I was about to say right there, playing towards the win con. They drafted themselves in a situation where things could have gone a completely different route if they didn't have that early game momentum that they were able to bring out, but they had it. They played towards that condition, and man, did they look good in this game number 1. But it is a best of 3. Can they make it a 2-0? We're going to have to find out when we return right after this break. Introducing the new Footlong Sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious footlong cookie, footlong pretzel, or footlong churro.